Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Loren Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link. Okay. Dang. Let me put this in for Tracy. Oh my goodness. Show. Okay. Chris Driscoll. The experts are here today, or supposed to be. And they were probably sitting here thinking I wasn't coming. I was stuck in traffic. Hold on. Boy, have I got a story for y'all. Okay, so Christina. She's new. You guys are going to love Chris Driscoll. She is a former international opera singer. Right? How often do you know somebody who was an international, she was a literal diva, right? If I only had a quarter, all the times that I've been called that, and she's the real deal, right? Chris Driscoll, you guys are going to love her. You're going to love her. So I'm just trying to, give me 1 second. I'm a little discombobulated. Okay. Okay, if you were planning on coming on the show, we are inside the studio now, live. Would love to see you. I was just talking about you. Love you, mean it. I just love her. When you meet Chris, you're going to know why I just did all that. Okay, let me get Miss Brittany Cosgrove. Remember I was telling you guys about her last week? She was on the show. I told you that name, right? Brittany Cosgrove. You watch what I tell you. It's going to be a common household name. And not too in the distant future. So anyway, she's, the first lady standing. Not the last man standing, the first lady standing. Hoping some of the other experts will come. Let me get her in here because I need some help. Wait till I tell y'all where I just came from. No, I heard who. Let me see who's here. Somebody say jail. No, that was pre-2000. Oh, Latera Wise. Good morning, Sherry McQueen. I can always count on you. Sounds like a song. I can always count on you. Robert Brooker, you as well. Good morning to you. Dr. Loren, Latera. Oh, okay. Lori Whitney, how are you? Have you recovered from your birthday shenanigans, Lori? Her birthday was a couple weeks ago. So let me get Brittany in here. I don't even have to do the whole down, 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 down. And let me get me off the screen. It's weird peeking over your head. How are you, Britt? Why do I always call you Britt? Like I know you. Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't. I love it.
It's so interesting because I've always prided myself in admonishing people who give people nicknames without discussing it with them. And here I've done it to you. I wonder why.
I love it. It's familial. I like it.
Well, you also have that little girl voice, like all my nieces, and those were my little ducklings. You know what I mean? They were like my babies, right? So maybe that's it. So how have you been? Let's talk about you real quick before I break the news.
I'm good.
You've been
good. Living life, really just leaning into it all.
Well, you must have had some special occasion this weekend because it looks like your hair's been coiffed for a special occasion. Was there something?
No, just normal. A lucky hair day that it actually worked out and wasn't fighting me this morning because it's early over here on the West Coast.
Unlike how I must look, and I was trying to wait. Tracy's going to be about 15 minutes late, which would have been now. Let me see. Let me ask her if she thinks I should wait because she's blowing my phone up. Hold on. So, how was your past weekend? And where do you live again, Brittany?
Right now, I'm over in Washington State, up in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay, so what's the weather like for you guys today? This last week, it's crazy here. Snow, 71 day snow the next day.
We saw some snow last week, but now we seem to be more in spring. We had one day where we saw all of the seasons. It was hail, snow, rain, and then sun. And now we're starting to have more consistently sunny days. It's still cold. But mind you, I spent the last 6 years in the Florida Keys, so I'm used to much warmer.
So my PA is texting me. I got Charles Maddox is supposed to be here today too, you guys. Well, I invited him. Tracy's coming. Jonathan Briere, remember him? I think he's been here once. He is on a cruise in the Caribbean. How nice, right? And then Oracle just texted it, well, this morning early, and still no internet where she's at. Rhode Island or something. Was it Rhode Island? Out on a peninsula somewhere over there in that part of the country. And she's been without internet because of storms apparently for a week or so. So it might just be you and I. And then when Tracy pops in, but that's okay. Let me get some frequency music going because we're going to need it. Okay. I'm going to just put it out there. Well, let me just ask Tracy. Brittany, can you take the show for 2 seconds so I can I'm doing the show real quick. She thinks I have nothing to do, apparently. Just because I'm not a medical doctor. Hold on, be right.
This is actually so perfect because literally just in the last couple of days, I've been kind of walloped over the head with two really big life lessons that just kept showing up. The first is about being a student of life and really just being open to anything and everything that life brings and being willing and open to look at like what's here for me, what is how can I change my mindset, like what can I get from the situation, and then following up with really leaning into how can I hold space for all of life, like what does it mean to hold space for all of life. And that means the highs but also means the lows, and it means really meeting people where they're at. Like just yesterday, I was actually supposed to record a podcast with a fantastic woman, and she didn't sign on at the regular time. And I emailed her, and she was just having a day where her little ones were going crazy, and there was just a lot going on in her life. And she hopped on late and just profusely apologizing for needing to reschedule so last minute and whatnot. And there was two things I could have done. I could have been really frustrated and been really upset and felt disrespected with my time and just really, really just held that kind of intenser energy. Or what I actually did was I just allowed life to be what it is, because we can't control others. We can't control life. We can't control anything except for how we show up and except for what we do. And so when I was sitting in that, it's really about just, it's allowing it in a way where it's not condoning or, not crossing your boundaries, but it's just letting life be what it is and not making it seem more than that. And so I just feel like that's been really on my mind lately, is this balance of almost playing with life, being flexible, letting that fluidity show up. And with that just comes this flow, this more peace, this natural acceptance of what life is. It reminds me a lot of Byron Katie's work, where she has a book called Loving What Is. And a lot of it is really leaning into this idea that can we really, with 100% certainty, beyond the shadow of a doubt, truly know how something is supposed to go, how the best way for something to happen is. And when we start questioning that, we can open ourselves up to what else is here, what else could it be. And I don't know, it's just something that I've been really playing with lately. And I think from that, it also allows us to just hold more
Great job. Wait, but you have a podcast.
I have one. I guest on them a lot. I like to talk.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and there's my VA in India, Shaquille. You guys know Shaquille. He does all of our stuff. And he says he was at the hospital with the baby. They have a 4-month-old. Yesterday, she has had diarrhea for the last 10 plus days. Ooh, that's not good for a newborn. 10 plus days, but she is finally, good, coming around. But she is fine by the grace of Allah, because it's the middle of Ramadan over there. Everywhere. The doctor said nothing to worry about. Okay. And that's a blessing. I will reach out to you later today. I'm going to break the news right now on my show. So funny. Now he knows too that the show is right now. But here's why. Okay. To all of you out there. So yesterday, there was no show. Well, I'll tell you why. Because the guest for yesterday, oh, it's nothing wrong with her. That's right. It was on me. I thought that I was going in just for a lab thing. Oh, I've officially started my story on Monday because that's my protection day. So run in, do it. That's the day I do all that kind of stuff. Costco, blah, blah, blah. So I go in for it because I have some stuff that I'm trying to figure out with the military. So I thought it was for that, kidney stuff. So I go and then they go, can you wait? We like people to wait after the Graham, whatever it was, Graham, the machine. You lay down, don't breathe, that one. I get CAT scans and MRIs mixed up. It was one of those. And anyway, long story short, I was in the hospital. They kept me overnight because of some things that showed up just because they had me. And then I had to stay an extra night last night for so kidneys. So they wanted to collect urine during the night. So I had a choice last night. Get out, have a catheter inserted at 8 o'clock, and I could have left at 4. I really didn't leave until 7 because I didn't leave at all. So anyway, I had to have a catheter, which was the first thing. That was very humbling, especially since when in high school for 2 years I was an orderly. And I did those, and no wonder they were screaming. I just thought it was all in their head. I know they say passing a kidney stone is like the next thing to having a baby. I might have to fight that in court because that girl, you should have seen, because look, even little needles. The American Red Cross wrote me a letter in the early 80s, right after high school, and asked me to find another way to volunteer instead of donating blood, because clearly you are not cut out, because it takes me like 4 hours, because every time they come near, their needles are like this. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. No, wait. No. And then I eat up all the cookies and drink all the orange juice. So I got on the phones and volunteered. That's what I still do today. So I have a thing about, I thought it was needles, but now at 62, I've learned it's anything that intrudes. And you know what I mean? If they're trying, right. Because I'm telling you, okay, maybe TMI, but I'm just saying it because we're aging. We're all aging. What's our theme for today? Do you remember? I had no prep for it. I sent it out with the email.
Something about family.
Oh, yeah. That's what we're supposed to be talking about. I want to save that. I want to save that till we have everybody here, because that's a hot topic. My doctor. How about 9:10? Okay. So anyway, I have learned that I have this thing about intrusive procedures, because one time my doctor wanted to do, swab. And I was like, I looked like I was going to hit her. And it wasn't because it was a woman. It was just like, no, you're not. And I ran out of her office. I literally ran out. I told Brian about it. Now this. It took him like 20 minutes before I was like, can't you sedate me? What about when I go to sleep? And they're like, you'll wake up. So anyway, I had that. Then they took it out. Another anomaly or weirdness. Why in the world would I have not even considered what goes in must come out? When they walked in, I was like, oh my God, I forgot, because I forgot. So anyway, so that was very interesting. Right on the heels of 2 of my sisters from the adoptive family a week ago, this past Monday, when I went in Monday, they were both put on hospice for dementia, which, by the way, is not, a death sentence. And I knew that, but I had forgotten it. So many of us, when you hear, have you ever dealt with someone in your family or a friend that was on hospice, Brittany? Okay, but when you hear hospice, what do you think? The upper room. Oh, how much time they got? That, seriously, I start asking questions like, what stage are they in? Like, of the dying. And it's not like that anymore. Or it never was. Sherry McQueen, I bet you know. Lori, you probably do too. Was it always that way where you could just go and kind of respite and get back on your feet and get things done and didn't die? I just thought it meant never see you again. Eventually. Is that what you thought?
Yeah, about, or like heading in that direction.
How old are you, Brittany?
31.
Still a baby. They don't need that stuff. Who talks about that at 31? What? AAR who? But you don't have senior moments, but I guarantee you're on the cusp of some juniors. It all started with, what was I doing? Followed by its cousin. What I come in this room for? Followed by the grandmammy of them all. This one literally happened to me. Honey, can I call you back? Brian. Why, honey, is everything okay? You sound a little distracted. Well, I am. This whole 40 minutes I've been talking to you, I'm frantically, because I got to walk out the door when I get off this call, and I can't find my phone. Silence. Honey, I'm here. Well, what's wrong? Honey, did you get a new phone since this morning? He's upstairs. I'm talking to him upstairs. No. Why do you... Goodbye. And that is the day I am almost positive that my husband somewhere in this house has the equivalent of one of these. A journal. Except this journal is for things admissible in court. For instance, it was March 3rd, 2023, and I quote, honey, can I call you back? And you just heard the rest of that entry. I'm just saying. Let's talk about aging. Can we talk about it? Or seriously, I should have called Dr. Jan and had her come on here. Dr. Janice Hooker Fortman. She's part of our family. One of your coaching siblings. Brittany coaches with the Rockstars now. Yay. Welcome to our family. And so wait a minute. You haven't had any elderly people pass away in your family?
I have. I've had many, but just not through the hospice system.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Wow. Okay. So let me ask you this. Have you started thinking about the process of aging? You're a woman.
Let me tell you a story.
How old did you say?
So I'm 31, and I actually love this conversation. I don't know, I can't speak to a ton on the other side of 31, but I had my little mental crisis around getting old at the age of 22. That was how I was severely anxious. I just had a lot of intense energy at that time. And I remember driving home from a family celebration and crying because I was like, I'm 22. I'm already too late. I'm already not where I'm supposed to be. I'm behind the game. And it was I remember it so vividly because it was so intense. And I knew I was being silly, but I also was just so upset. And then ever since then, I have seen aging as a gift. It is a gift that I am getting older. The little fine lines and wrinkles I start seeing, those are gifts. They're proof that I've laughed. They're proof that I am still here, that I'm still going. And there were plenty of years where, it is a gift that I'm here.
It really is.
I get to continue going. And so I have really changed my mindset around aging to be more of this one of excitement. I'm looking forward to my 40s. I'm looking forward to 50s because I've already done the hard part. I've done the expansion and growth and deep dives into healing and self-development throughout my 20s. And now I'm in this place where it's okay, now we build and we just get to keep building.
Oh, those were the days. God, that Nellie Olson and Laura Ingalls Wilder, weren't they? We had so much fun back then. That's what it feels like. Because I told you we had this conversation at your first session about how you're indigenous, whereas I am considered alien to this current world. The world I lived in, this girl on the screen has never known. TV going off at night, coming back on early in the morning, the national anthem playing when it went out, the little dot that disappeared in the middle of the screen. Remember that stuff, y'all? Commercials like, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. You're soaking in it now, Paul Mahler. It's Charlie. Dun, da, 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 Imperial. All of those goodies. Remember that? They don't. Right. So the world that we will live in from here on out, us that are over 40, we are aliens. We did not come from this world. You did. So that's something to really understand, because I had started attracting 21-year-olds as coaching clients, and they're very successful. These kids are at 21. They're making, I shouldn't put that, well, I won't say who, but one is making like 60 something thousand a month. Oh, there's 40 of them up there. And the lowest person made 17 grand last month net. And then the highest was like 140 in a month. Now, when I graduated high school, people were retiring still back then in 1980 at 20 years of work, which it is not that anymore. People who made $70,000 a year back then were doctors. Today, they work at Dunkin' Donuts. And they're not even making donuts. They're behind the counter. Well, maybe not 70, but. So what I'm getting at is the term, and Dr. Jan and I have had this conversation, the term aging gracefully. See, a lot of people that think, we did it the other day, Brian and I, every time, because I went to award shows and said, oops, I said a cuss word. When award shows and things come on, I couldn't sleep well 2 nights in a row. All them beeps and those nurses all out in the hallway and their doors wide open, they're out there talking. And then I had to they had to wear oxygen thing all the time because my oxygen level, excuse me, drops. And then the thing goes on, beep, 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 beep. So anyway, and then it would be, they'd come in, turn on the light. Why you gotta turn on the light? Use your phone or a pen light. So anyway, and I don't sleep well when I'm away from Brian and Lucy and Ethel, the cats. I really don't. So, okay. Here's some good things that have happened. I didn't finish. I went in for the thing. I was supposed to do like a urinalysis and something else, which I'm used to because I used to try to sneak creatine into my workout schedule. And my PA, Joe Nessa, the great, would always catch me. Get off that. Your kidney numbers are elevated. So here's what they found out. They sent me from one appointment to another appointment to another appointment, kept me all night, 2 nights in a row in one day. Because I am officially the proud owner of stage 3 kidney disease. Which, of course, at first, one might think, oh, who knows? Maybe you can get lunch with Whitney. What do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? Like but it's not. It's not a heart thing. This was the interesting part for me. The person who used to hate going in hospitals, even though I worked in one for 2 years of high school, the older I got, the more I hated jails and visiting people in jails, nursing homes, and hospitals. A lot of us don't like it. Those places have weird smells, weird sounds, weird everything. But things like hospitals start becoming more and more familiar territory. And for some people, long before 62, Sherry McQueen is a cancer survivor. And I bet there's other people that I don't know about. Not everybody shares that. So let's talk about
So you still look like you could be friends with Jan Brady if she was still Jan Brady and not aged. Oh, that was a show. The Brady Bunch.
Okay, to be fair, I like you referenced Little House on the Prairie. That was basically what I grew up in, except for the mountains. We didn't really watch TV, so I don't. I'm not great with a lot of actors and actresses and like famous names, and I have not seen most movies or shows.
So if I say Carol Brady, that means nothing to you?
If you said that, I mean, when I hear Brady, I guess I go to Tom Brady. That's the reference in my head.
Well, there it is. Indigenous over there. Alien over here. Where do you fall out of the two? Put it in the comments, please. Which one of those categories do you fall in? See what I'm saying? Oh, well, it's not as bad as, was it 2 years ago? It was, because it wasn't this past Christmas. It was the one before. I was at some little restaurant in Chicago, and I think it was like a high schooler. Well, she was bussing my table. She wasn't a server. She was bussing. And they were playing Mariah Carey, that Christmas song that she's made $100 million off of, that one. All I Want for Christmas, or whatever, that one. What is it?
I think that's it.
I'll try to block it out. No, something. One of her big Christmas songs. So anyway, and so she's cleaning stuff off, and I go, oh, I like her songs, but well, what was your favorite Whitney Houston Christmas song? And she went, I thought she was really trying to go through which one. And she went, who? I said, Whitney Houston.
I feel that one.
Whitney who? I couldn't. I'm serious. I couldn't. I ended up throwing. That was back when we were still just eating whatever. And I bought desserts to go for both of us. I was so upset. Whatever I had ended up going in the garbage can because it was like 2 days before I was over that. So anyway, and shows like the music shows, we don't watch them anymore because we don't know anybody except when they go, who died? And I went to visit my foster mother, number 3, Allie Valentine in Huntsville, Alabama, a couple weeks ago. And she is 99 years old now. And I talk to her almost every Sunday. I call her for longevity tips. If you guys ever want to know, I should start sharing them here on the show. She's 99 and she still drives like road trips, not just like to the market. She drives like she went from Chattanooga, Tennessee to Huntsville, Alabama a couple times last week. That's 2 or 3 hours each way. She plays piano for 2 churches on the weekend. And plays, I mean, and she has no issues. I think she has a little gout, she said, or something, but she's very healthy. She's got all her wits, and she was my school counselor and a member of our church. And when they took me from the home, they put me in a bad place for a week, and she petitioned during that week to keep me until the family decided what they were going to do, which was nothing. So it was just wonderful. So tip, here's one. Have you ever heard of a thing called oh Lord, now that's a senior moment. See it? Okay, laughter. Okay, it's gonna come back. And excuse me. Remember, you may not remember me, but about 10 years ago, when you were 31, you were on a show with Dr. Loren, and you laughed at it. I was gonna say, okay.
I'm not laughing. You just crack me up. I just love your energy.
It's so, you can't ignore it. You don't want to because, well, I'll get to that. So anyway, I forgot where I was. Another senior moment.
It was a tip about longevity. You're gonna say, have you heard?
Oh yeah. Yeast flakes. They taste like cheese, and they really do. And they're chocked full of. It's like a powder, and it's chocked full of vitamin B12, which, according to Mrs. Valentine, is missing out of most of the foods we get in the grocery store. And we need it for almost everything in our body. And I checked her out. She said, yep. And Jane, Miss Jane, I thought she was going to have a fit. I just threw it on some broccoli one day. Because I said, I don't know you that well yet. Excuse me, Jane. I know Mrs. Valentine. All these, right. So she said, it's good. It's good for me. She's 98. How old are you? So that's what I was. And Jane said, let me check into that. And she gave it the green flag. So is that the right green flag? Is that okay?
Green light.
Green light. See?
Green.
That's probably a column like in a little spiral thing, not quite in the big one that'll be submitted as evidence A. That little faux pas. So now I got to think of something smart to say today to offset it. That's what I do every time. I watch him too. See if he goes somewhere. I act like nothing. Oh, wasn't that funny? I follow him. I'll find it. Okay, somebody's probably texting him right now. Your husband's delusional. He's downstairs. So anyway, Sherry McQueen, I left this up here for a reason. She said there are some cases that people are in hospice for over a year. Yeah, that's one fun fact. You want to hear another one? You don't? Talking to you, Brittany. You want to hear another fun fact?
Yes.
About hospice. There's a girl in Carousel who has a television show there, and she's considering bringing that show to the States and bringing it to E360 and Trajectory. She has great sponsors and stuff. Sherwin-Williams. Try to guess what she does by the sponsors. Sherwin-Williams is a sponsor. Well, you can't get it from the cars. But she drives these cars when she goes shopping for what she does on the show. So Tesla and Mercedes, they're both sponsors. So she drives to places like Sherwin-Williams, Joann Fabrics, which won't be for long because they're going out of business. Joann's Fabric, right? Halloween costumes and stuff. You're going too far now. When you mess with Joann's Fabrics. Oh, you know Joann's Fabrics? I'm shocked.
I do.
Oh, you probably order all your groceries online. That's a thing.
No, I have to. I would, but I work from home, and it's kind of like I have to make myself leave the house. I'm a total homebody, and so if I could stay here all the time, I would. And so things like grocery stores and shopping, I make myself do it in person.
But you don't like
I don't like it. I hate
Brian
grocery
doesn't
shopping.
like it.
But Joann's is always so fun. There's so much creativity there. There's colors. There's so many like DIY things, fabric, anything.
Yes. So sad. Okay, so Joann's Fabric. She drives those cars. Sherwin-Williams. Let me think of another one. Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Home Store, the Home Store. She goes. All of these are not all. I probably made up one or two, but those kinds of places. But a lot of those are actual sponsors of her show in Carousel, and she's coming to shoot her pilot in Atlanta. And what she during COVID, wonderful story, the way it all turned out. She experienced 12 people. I wish Tracy was here. Tracy had a large number too. And we met 3 weeks before COVID, Tracy and I and her family. And there were people in there. It was my last speaking engagement before COVID for 2 years, actually. Little did I know. But so interesting because 3 coaching clients came out of that audience. And there was only like 60 people there. So Tracy, Dano, who has weekly dose of Dano on E360, and Jeanette Ramos. Both of them, all of those people are rock stars for your benefit. So anyway, man, I'm just thinking about, it's just all the stuff that, okay, I forgot what it was. Y'all don't understand. There was really no sleep in that place. And I sleep on my stomach. Now, the last time I was in there, it was for a sleep study, and I couldn't sleep on my stomach because they stuck stuff all over me. This time, I had that doggone catheter thing, which the bag, I kept having, can you move that thing on the other side of the of the bed because, and then they wouldn't move it after 2 times. I thought, well, you're going to come in here and wake me up. You might as well be useful. Can you move that bag? I want to rotate. Anyway, I'm going to be a horrible old folks home person. They better not send me there. I'll get put out. I already know it. Another good reason this stuff happens earlier. So anyway, I have the kidney thing. So I had to go through the thing. What I did not realize is this. Right around week 2 of this, I started feeling something down near the kidneys. And I told Brian, my husband, it felt like radiating like a beacon or something. You know what I mean? It like pulsed and it like burned. Ow. What is like it was hot, but I couldn't feel anything. You know, I wonder if that's cancer. Yeah, I don't play with it. Seriously, because when I was in my 50s and I was doing the transformation competitions and things for people, a lot of them were over 35, 40, 50 women. And I brought a doctor in to talk to at the orientation. And I didn't even know this, but he said to us, especially when you're starting new things, workout things. You work out, you go to the gym and stuff. Yeah, you know. So you know, when you're doing something, sometimes you need to clear it, depending on your age or prior things, with your doctor, right? Make sure you're doing it right, safely, and you know, within protocol. So he's Dr. Lester. He goes, if you experience anything unusual that doesn't happen, I can't remember the last time I had something in my ear or whatever. If it presents for 2 days, call somebody. Call your doctor, call your PA, call somebody in the profession, run it past them. Don't go on you can go on the MedMD, but that doesn't count as a call, he said. If it lasts for 5 days, go to the emergency room. Now, it was 1 week later. 2 of the girls were sisters. They were beauticians. They had a salon. And one of the other girls that would come, and she was 44 years old, the other girl, she went to them to get her hair done. I think she worked in the courthouse. She did something in the courthouse. So anyway, she goes up there and they're doing her. She came and got a perm or something on Monday. She had a wedding on Saturday. And they did her thing, and then they said, come in Friday for last minute touch-ups. Because I think she was in the wedding, her daughter or somebody. No, because she only had one son, I'm lying. Somebody, she had a family thing, and she was in it. That's why. So they saw her on Monday eating a lot of Rolaids. And they kind of said, girl, you, what in breath mints? They said, no, Rolaids. Why are you eating so many? I have heartburn, she said. Oh. So then Friday comes, she's there, and now she's chain eating, they said. Popping one, chewing it up. She wasn't chewing them on Monday, chewing them up. Then they take the wrappers from her because she's in the chair. They save them up. The time before they were even finished with her hair, 7 rolls of Tums had been devoured. They said, wait a minute. This happened. You had this on Monday. Yeah. Remember what Dr. Lester said? 2 days. You should have called somebody. Do you call them? What they say? I didn't. It's heartburn. He said 5 days. Go straight to the emergency room. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They turned the closed sign around. Come on. What? We'll finish your hair after. We're going to the emergency room. I kid you not. That's a true story. Brian knows. They went to the emergency room. One of them went back there. You know how you go back to where they pull the curtains and stuff when they call you? Right. You go back there in the treatment room or section. And one sister was with her. The other sister said she was going outside because you can't get no reception in them places, to call home, to let them know why the shop was closed in case somebody called. They said, the one sister said she jumped up. The nurse said, go ahead and put this gown on. Hop up. When you have the gown on, hop up on the table. Well, she had put the gown on. She just went over there, hopped up on the table, and the other sister came back in. She heard her talking to somebody out there. She looked to make sure she knew what room. We're here. She pulled the curtain a little. We're here. When she turned around, that woman that just hopped up on the table had fallen over. Eyes gone, dead. 44 years old. You know what it was? It wasn't heartburn. There was a hole in her aorta. She was drowning in her own blood. If she had done what he said on day 2, she might have still been here today. She might have still been here today. When I had my blood clot, remember that? And I told everybody about it. Our best friend. Watch the show every day. Scott. Remember Scott Kazarowski? You might remember him, Sherry. He used to watch religiously, just like you guys. Robert, you might remember him. And he stopped coming. Yeah. Because he stopped breathing. It was the next week. And I was telling him how I had found my body lurched. And then the Google thing, it said, if you lurch, go straight to the emergency room, you most likely have a blood clot. And then, stupid me, I know I'm just running my mouth. Blood clot. Now, Brian the night before was massaging it with heat, which all the things we weren't supposed to do. We thought it was just a pull muscle, but then I go, wait a minute. I haven't been to the gym in a month. How could I have pulled the muscle? I was afraid if I moved, it was going to go to my lungs. By the time we get in the car, it'd be in my brain. I was going to be dead before we got to the... Brian's getting near like, run it! I was like, run that red light! Right, I was horrible. Panic attack started. Fingers got numb. Foaming at the mouth. Thought I was going to pass out. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So, let's talk about you in your 30s. Life insurance. That's another thing. Why in the last 6 months have I gotten 5 life insurance policies? Well, because I have 2 coaching clients who are in that business now, and they pitched me, but I had just purchased Mutual of Omaha and AAA because they send you all that crap in the mail, and so I did it. And then you get something that happens, you think, does this mean I'm going to die? Now, do you have life insurance? You do?
I do. My mom said you're not allowed to move on in life without it.
Okay.
Years ago, she sat down, my sisters and I, and we all got signed up. She said, I'm not stuck with your student loans. I'm not stuck with your car payments. I'm not stuck with anything.
Your mom's so smart.
She's smart. She's also seen the other side of what can happen when things are not set up like that. And yeah.
So you have a policy. Now, did your mom start it or did you start it? She started, you took it over?
No, we all started it, but she made us start it.
Okay. Right.
We were kind of, we were in our 20s and we're like, what? Like, I don't need that. And
I'm going to live forever.
But when you've seen a lot of, like, I've seen a lot of deaths in my young years and from young people. And in 2020, like, I had a cancer scare and
you did?
Yeah. It was, not many people know about it. I kept it really close to just me and my very, very close circle because it was really scary.
How old were you then?
26-ish, 25, 26. Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind talking about how it made you feel or how shocking?
Yeah,
how did your peers treat you during it?
I only told my partner at the time. I told him, and then I told my parents knew what was going on, and maybe like 1 or 2 friends, and that was all. That's all I shared it with, because it was a really long process of being in the unknown, and that was really scary. And just starting to question, like, what does this mean? Like, what does this look like? And that investigation for the truth of what is happening with my body, like, what is going on. And it started with a lump. That was what the first trigger was. And then I went through a couple months of rapid weight loss. And it was like, I think I lost over 50 pounds within like 2 to 3 months. Like, it was fast. And it was also really tricky because with that came a lot of people projecting like body image things onto me. It was, oh, you look amazing, you look great. And meanwhile, I was the weakest I'd ever been. I was having a hard time keeping food down, and I knew there was something wrong.
Can I just ask real quick, family and people really close to you? Because in Black families, my mom, rest her soul, if one of my nieces or something lost 5 pounds and still 30 pounds overweight, my mom's gonna go, how much you say you lost? 5. Well, slow down, because you need some meat on your bones, or because you look sickly. Right? If you're not like 40 pounds overweight in some cultures, everybody starts thinking something's wrong. Oh, is she sick? What she got? Right. So did anyone say, Brittany's looking a little peaked, green around the gills, and start asking questions?
Most of those people did see it as like, oh, like she's looking good, and like, yeah, losing the extra fat and things like that.
You're so thin. You look great.
It was a lot of that, and it was really confusing. And then it also created a lot of just body dysmorphic thoughts in my head for the years after that, because it's like, do I have to choose between being healthy and looking good? It was very odd.
Thank you for saying.
Intense experience.
Thank you for saying.
Yeah, it was vulnerable. Yeah.
I just want to add, because Brittany at 31, in all of her infinite wisdom, hit something very important. I'm looking. Okay, you guys know that picture? I know somebody's going, when I tell you which picture. The one in the yellow, when I transformed my body. Oh, I have it here. Of course, that's what I thought. So it's like he doesn't know where that is. He shows it all the time. That's funny. And then I have it here. That's why I say it's almost a little disclaimer every time when I'm giving. Oh no, I'm so proud. Oh no, there it is. I'm so proud of myself. I got rid of it. No, I didn't. This guy. I always say, okay, yeah, 52. I was extremely proud of it because this was the physique portion of, I'd already won the grand championship for the weight loss and all of that. And a lot of muscle was built during that. But this was the whittling it down, which was like chemistry class every day to do this. I'd never do this again. But that is why you all have heard me say, I wouldn't mind looking like this guy. I mean, I wouldn't mind looking like this guy, but I don't have to. I just want to make sure I feel like he did, because that's when I felt my healthiest. I did not know, even in my 20s, that I had this kind of a body possible. I thought you just woke up looking that way, you see, and I didn't have my knee fixed yet. See, and still one of those see how the one's a little bent? You know how I got past that little trick on the toes? It allowed me to flex muscles without my bad knee bowing out. Pretty clever, huh? So let's talk about it. Aging gracefully. The reason I'm talking about that today is because I just went through this thing. And for a second, which I attributed to being at the VA hospital, because when I went next door to beautiful, lovely, upscale Loyola for part 2, which was the dietitian and stuff about some little changes I'm going to need to make, I felt like I was in Beverly Hills, whereas when I went next door to the VA, it was like, Shawshank Redemption, dead man walking, ooh, is that lunch? Or death. That's kind of how it feels at the VA. Because even if it's a sunny day, you're going to have some crotchety veteran. I love them all. Thank you for your service. Sitting there talking about whatever, So let's look at all the clues. Jane comes into my life back in December. 2 months after, I start changing and getting life insurance. Now, I also changed my living will back then. Y'all remember what that was about? That was because I was sick of people on stages. And this is what birthed the new community, Mindset Revolution. A mall for your mind. You'll see why stores in there, y'all, with people who are integrity based. No one will come out of the Mindset Revolution Mall for the Mind smelling like smoke from being burned. Everybody in there will have already been vetted. They're within integrity. They believe in things like the Four Agreements and helping people heal, helping people ease suffering, not angles, not slippery snake salesmen, taking your money and giving you nothing in return. And a lot of people in our world, the work we do, healing and do it. That's why I don't believe it. I don't care what people, I'm just saying, it's how I feel. See, there's another old thing. 62, you start being unapologetically you, well, get used to it. I say it all the time. I'm 62 and I'm set in my ways, right? The things I used to go, oh God, did my grandma just say that? And I became the patriarch last week of our family officially. The male, male is patriarch. I know Brian had to break me of that a couple of days ago, honey. It was like saying they're the two twins. I was like, yeah, the male. I'm now the male patriarch. Told y'all, public school. Don't blame me. So I became the patriarch. Two sisters going to hospice. I went and visited Mrs. Valentine, 99. I changed my will to read. Nobody says anything about Dr. Loren at my service or in an obituary that is older than 14 days old, 2 weeks. Because I got sick of those people on the stages holding up stuff from 40 years ago. You may remember me from the Home Shopping Network. I didn't use the real one. I know what you're thinking, Sharon McQueen. I did not use the real show, but it was like that kind of show. When I invented this, Suzanne Summers was right down. I saw her every day in the craft food table. She had the Thigh Master. But Suzanne Summers been dead, I don't know how long. The Thigh Master, along with the Easy Glider, her other thing, I had that. I fell for that one. As seen on Ronco or on... anyway, you don't know anything about that, do you? TV Guide or...
Well, like I know of it. Like I've seen it before.
From history class?
No, but probably from being at my grandparents or something like that when I was a kid. I don't know. But I have an idea.
Okay, so... Oh, wow. So there's all these things that I started looking at, okay? Because, I did that thing in the will because it's really for me to be more accountable. So now I go, what if I died today? I better find something that's memorable because that's the only way it will be worth repeating, which is the only way somebody can stand up and say something nice about me at my service. So it makes me look for that because can you imagine? I do some stupid shit like that and then die. And then, would anyone have a kind word that they'd like to share? Because I'm going to be right up in the corner or something. Okay. So anyway, I won't. But, I might. I'm just saying. I hope I don't get trapped. Last thing before we get out of here. Aging gracefully, I believe for me. And you know what I've been saying. Set your intentions, but then write the definition. So dominoes, you know how you set them up to do the snake around, and you hit one and it knocks them all down? This is how the Greater Than has showed me this for me. They said, Loren, take your intention. I'm going to be the black ass male Betty White. Means I want to be like Mrs. Valentine. Because until 50, I didn't care about anything but dying. I won't see 30. I won't see 40. I won't see 50. And now I'm trying to go all the way down there somewhere. So I'm going to set an intention. I want to live. Do you want to live? Brittany, you want to live? How old would you like to be one day? If you got to choose.
I don't know if I have
trick question. It's a trick question.
Number. Oh, good.
Because you can be 99 and living on your own like Mrs. Valentine, or you can be 72. My youngest sister that just went on hospice with dementia. Dr. Jan. is 82. And you can't set her down. I can't keep up with her. Seriously. But a lot of the people who report lasting health and quality of life well into their late 80s, 90s, even 100, report that much of it came from simple daily routines that they implemented in their 20s, 30s, 40s. They had something in each decade. Wasn't something from the 20s and to just let it ride. I'll put it all on 7. Black for life. No, they kept looking. And that's kind of where I got the mindset for metabolic balance and doing the 10-year check-in to see if my metabolism. I still go to the gym almost every day, just like I did then. But my metabolism is not the same. It's 10 years older. It's 10 years slower. It's 10 years eating the crap that I was eating until Jane showed me the light. So I say this, same thing I say every day. Great way to close the show. Tell you, if you start your day looking for an E and an R and realize when you wake up, you're already great, like Brittany's hair. And then she did like this a little bit and made it greater. So she already found her E and her R. But if you find that and push it up at the end of the day, look over your shoulder. Remember that shopping cart that got away from that woman who was putting a bag in and it rolled and was headed straight for that brand new car, had a sticker on the window. All your stuff, you dropped it in the trunk, didn't know that all the fruit and everything rolled out. You had to move stuff, make sure nothing got left behind in your trunk. But you saved that cart from hitting that car. Close your eyes and you go, that was nice. So you just took nice to nicer. When we do that on a daily, and then before we turn that last light off, they told me this too. Read your dreams, your desires, those of your heart, because the promise says, I will give you the desires of your heart. So look at the desires of your heart, visit them, and then read them a bedtime story before you go to sleep. And read that bedtime story from your list of gratitudes, what you were thankful from that day you just most recently lived, or the day before, the one closest to the one you've most recently lived. Our greatest content as storytellers and content creators, healers, and just good people. You'll find it in the day you're living and the day you've most recently lived. So go forward, build your legacy, not on things you did decades ago. Build your legacy on things you did moments ago. They'll be talking their ears off at your service if it's anything like mine. Well, Brian was really happy I did that because my original plan was to do one of those videos. Hi, if you're watching this, we all know what happened. I'm getting ready to go kick it with Whitney Houston. And I was right. And I know she's always my go-to. That's the first one. Anybody up here know where Whitney live? Right. So listen, aging gracefully means doing your best. It means all the things you were doing the last 10 months, the last 10 years, the last 10 days, the last 10 hours. You're aging. Right now, none of us will ever be as young again as we are right now. So think about it. Think about the things like life insurance, and don't be afraid of it. Think about the stories that won't be attached to our faces or our names, but still, the moral of that story will still be whispered in some of the darkest and coldest places in this world. But not if you don't leave it. So remember that. Grab yourself something, write it down. When we write things down, they become literal contracts. They do. They're covenants. And it's very important because you know why I write things down? Because I want to remember them. Just like this. With no changes, no addendums, just pushing through and getting through. Aging gracefully. Doesn't have to hurt. And it means to give myself grace. I lied. I didn't tell Brian. Brian thought, I thought I was going to go. I hid my overnight bag, my backpack in the car when he was on a session. I thought I was going spend the day because you had to change and stuff, and then come home, wait for the results, and then tell him. But then they kept me. So what I yeah, I stayed out with Chris and Martha all night because Chris was here from Christy Array, coaching clients from California. Yeah, and then drove them to the airport. Immediately another lie had to come right after. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go, and then they go, oh, we still need you. Because I'm gonna go hit Costco. Which I was gonna do and get back on the truth trail. Now I gotta add more lies because now they need more tests. And we need to keep you overnight, or you're gonna have to stay and then leave because you gotta fast and a whole bunch of other stuff. So all I'm saying is this: don't be afraid if there's no reason to be. There's not. Just be grateful. Count it all joy. And talk about the things that do scare you with the people you trust the most. You should find them sitting right there in the front row seats of your life. I'll see you tomorrow, and we're going to have to do, this does not count as, it does. Was that in your mind? No, that's just stupid, right? As we're going to redo experts today, because we got to get everybody back here. We want to talk about, what is the exact, it's a good one, right, Britt? You guys speak.
Yeah, it's something like familial secrets or something like that.
Okay. Pulling in 3 minutes. My doctor, I'm supposed to be there. Bye, you guys. Have a great day. Get out there and change the world. Be the blessing you want to see. Brittany, thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
And you guys, keep an eye on her. I can't tell you why. Brittany, thank you. We'll see you. You guys, see you tomorrow. God bless you. Bye-bye.